That is so annoying. That is so annoying that I have to fix that every time. Hi, I'm your doofus, obviously. I was just saying I've got an initial version of this on the PowerShell Gallery, this PSIISHelper, and it's got like one command in it. I really just pushed that out to reserve the module name, but now I'd like to get these commands at least working, and then we can publish another little version. That way there's at least something here and people can start using this. So I think there's a few of these that I needed to clean up a bit. We'll just have to look at it. But yeah, I just want to publish a new version, and maybe I can show you guys how my publish pipeline works in GitHub. You know, how it runs my tests and whatnot. If that's the case, nothing here. This is stupid, but I'm going to make a branch off of this right now, just so I can PR this and show you how my tests do different things when stuff's coming in from a pull request or just pushing to master. When I push to master, you know, I think it actually does everything. It'll test all my source code and build and test, and then check the version. And if the version in the manifest is newer than what's on the PowerShell Gallery, it will publish. But I do different tests when there are pull requests. So I'm just gonna make a branch anyway. Let's call this version 002. Cool. Yay. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I just got a new branch out here, obviously, and it's all the exact same. So as we push stuff, it'll be on this branch. Yeah, okay. Where were we? Let's see. Because I've got to get... What? Why aren't I seeing any of these commands? Oh, it's not at pool. I changed it to pool and site. Yeah. Oh, duh. PowerShell. Okay. All right. Cool. Windows PowerShell. Let's bring this up. Yeah. These only work in Windows PowerShell for now. So... PMO. Cool. All right. Get. Yeah. Pool. I removed app from app pool. Website. Web from website. Things like that. Oh, that's not what I want. Why won't it? Weird. Okay, so SU, this is supposed to be like mimic SU on Linux. So elevate this. In Windows, you cannot. If anyone has figured this out, let me know. It's just not doable. You cannot elevate the current process in place, you know, in the same process. So I've just write SU. This figures out the calling process and then calls it in an admin fashion. But I tried that from... So SU in PowerShell in the terminal will relaunch terminal as an admin. But when I call it from PowerShell in the terminal, it doesn't work. It just launches Windows PowerShell separately. So that's kind of a quirk. Maybe we can fix that sometime. But anyway, okay. Oh wait, no, this is still PowerShell. So we need Windows PowerShell as an admin. Cool. Pool. So everything is stopped. What the heck is that? Okay, that's a quirk. Why did it do that? Start PSIIS pool is quirky. Site.name. It like returned them all one at a time. So when this starts a pool, it should just return that site. Why did it do that? Yeah, this is wrong. I wonder if this is not correct. What is site? Site.name is the name. Let's try some debug stuff. It should just, I want it to just return the site that it started, basically. Hang on, that's not what I want. Oh, maybe I just want this. Pass through here. And I don't even need this. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize this has its own pass-through. You know what? Professionally, I should probably include this as a parameter. I'm going to try bools. So that means I have to do it. And that means I have to include this up here too. So stop. Wow. That's what I want. Wait. Start pool. Oh, stop pool. I didn't add that. Maybe this does need to be a switch. That's what I want. Yeah. Okay, let's fix that over here. Or add it, I guess. Anyone confused about what I'm doing here with the switch? Well, right now, I mean, I'm kind of just working on the PSIISHelper module. Like I said, there is a published version of this module on the PowerShell Gallery, version 001, and it's got like one unfinished function in it. And I'm getting downloads on it. It's got like 10 or 15 already or something. And that's not for me. So I thought I've made a bunch of these functions. I kind of want to just make sure all of these work and then actually publish another version. So people downloading this actually have some commands, right? So that's what I'm trying to do, is just get this working, push it out the door. And then if anyone cares, I can walk you guys through my GitHub. GitHub will automatically test and check and publish this to the PowerShell Gallery for me, just because I'm committing a new version of the module. So I can walk you guys through how that works in case you've got modules that you want to use this for. So I just, again, want to get this working and then show off the pipeline I've made. It's not the best. And I try to walk through like real professional pipelines, like the PowerShell projects publishing pipeline or all these other ones, but mine is just so far different than theirs. I'm just sticking with the one I've got. It works, so I don't need to do anything too crazy with it. So, okay. Which one is this? Start. So let's... Start pool. Oh, this up here... I didn't add this up here. There we go. Oh, this is site. Oh. I'm messing with the wrong command. I need to add this to all these anyway. So stop pool works. Start site works. Pass through. Add this up here. It's there. So what I have to add this in a couple spots. So this is on the high level function itself. You can provide pass through, true or false. And then I have to add it to this script block, which basically acts like a function in this method where I can call it locally or ship the script block over and call it remotely. I have to add it as a parameter as well to the script block. So if no one provides this high level pass through is false. And then when I provide it like this, if it's false, I'm just pass false to that parameter, or pass true to the parameter. So, and then I need to add that here. So that should fix the start pool, which is what I was testing right here. Yeah. Oh, because I still have this. There. It would only return just the pool that it started. Now if I did get... And I... Whoops. And I pipe that into... to start all pools, then I would get all pools back. Now I want to try stop. This is a better pass-through than what I was trying to do, because these commands support pass-through themselves, which is nice. I didn't even think about that, so. So that's this one. Yeah, it's the same thing here. I'm basically stop the site, start the site, and then show the user the site object. Well, I just need to add pass-through to all these, so give me a minute to do this. Oops. Restart site. That is interesting. It prompts me for the confirm before it gets its information. I've never seen this. Huh. Site 1, I guess. Weird. Name, site 1. Okay. Pass through. There we go. Cool. But this passes the raw binding, not my version of the site. So we may change this in the future, because this is the just get the raw site from IIS. Or I've got my own command for that. Do I want to pass this version of the site object? Probably for consistency, I would want to pass this. Or not, I don't know. But for now, it passes the raw one. But mine correlates the pools that the site lives with. Or, you know, that are tied together. So there's pros and cons to using mine or theirs. You know, there's the one that's built in. So we'll see. Stuff to decide for the future. Okay, let's just keep working up. Get rid of that. Oops. Cool. Restart pool. Oh, there may not be a pass-through on that command. Yeah, there's no pass-through. So but there is on start. That's so funny. If I'm restarting the... See, this is where the inconsistencies come in, and I kind of have to make a decision. When I do pass through, which object do I want? The PSIISHelper version of the pool or the site, or the one that's built in? if I do mine, apparently there's issues with my logic for grabbing the site. So, oh gosh. Well, there is no pass through here. Pool dot name. Yeah. Get out of here. Let's try that. All the objects. What do you mean by that? You want the raw one or the one that I'm creating? I guess I could just do this if pass through. No idea. That's fine. Get. I am getting here. Get PSIIS pool. Pool name. What is the problem with this? So this command isn't even working right now. I'm not getting output because the pool's not started. This is supposed to start it. Oh, I think it's going to yell at me that I can't restart a stopped pool. Oh, I thought I'd get rid of that. You have to start stopped object before restarting it. Okay, what is the error? Oh, whoops. PowerShell errors are so fun. Okay. I'm trying to find the exact error for this, the error type. Parse exception. I think that's it, right? Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap this in a try. going to wrap that in a try. This will error. And you can catch specific error types. So depending on if different errors might come out of here, like if there's an error for pool does not exist or something like that. Let's go site one. This pool does not exist. I get a different error. So I could oh, that's okay, so that's the same exception. Wait, so how do I know what error this is? This? No, that's not the exception. PowerShell errors are not fun. I can't remember the full formatting. In Windows PowerShell, you can, I mean, in PowerShell, you can just do get error and it's magical. Oh, hey, you're not fun. You're mom. Yo, mama. All right. Yeah. Well, welcome to the show. Glad you're here. What am I doing? Here we go. Okay. Displaying error information. Does that give other categories? Category view displays specific information from the error record rather than the free text description. Yeah, okay, I guess that's what I want. Okay, let's, I guess, see if this information is correct. So, catch. Well, that didn't work. This documentation is not exactly what I want. Yeah. Get in here. Try catch. That's what I'm doing. Oh. Oh, okay. Error details. Wait, why can't I do that? Jeez. This is much harder to do in Windows PowerShell. But it needs to be compatible with Windows PowerShell because that's what technically runs these. Okay, let's do this. Let's get rid of these. Just return this. Well, this is kind of frustrating. Sorry. Exception type. Item not found. Oh, here's the name of the exception. An exception. Item not found exception. Yeah, see, this is what I'm trying to do. Is if something's not found, do this. If there's a different type of error, do this. And then just a blank catch catches every other error. So you can do stuff specific to what broke. So these are all the error types, but I'm trying to find... It looks like this is the exception, but it's the same exception as the other one, so I don't really have a good way of differentiating between the two. Oh, hang on. What error is it giving me? That's not the error. Yeah. It is yelling about some formatting in this function. Oh, it's this garbage. Jeez. Okay. Server site name. Server site name. Cool. Wow. What am I looking for? Oh, I don't have Pester in. Well, so what I'm trying to find is, I think there's some other nonsense going on that is throwing me off. Maybe I'm getting the wrong error. Oh, I am capturing the wrong error. Why is the command not found? What the heck is going on here? Oh. Close that off. I see. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I got lost in some brackets here, I guess. Okay, that closes pool. That closes else. That closes that. That closes that. This should close process. This should close script block. Okay, so I've got an extra thing in here. Okay. Extra bracket. There we go. Cool. Re-get the error. This is what I want. Okay. Wow. So I could say something like, just to let you know, it's doing my code, not the original error. And okay, what if it does exist, but it stopped? Oh, well, if it gets here, I want it to say that. This is not the type. Yeah, this should be the exception. And it's not catching that. Well, I'll have to look at this. Okay. I know this one works. Yep. It writes that as an error. But I'm confused about this one. Why is this formatting differently? Yeah. I'll mess with this next time. Like I said, let's just get this working. So I'll just write the error that I get. Yeah, I guess I change the error if I do my own custom write error, or in this case, I just want to pass along whatever error. I'll add this check-in later. Some other time, just want it working. So if I import and restart, get this crap out of here. Normal view. Okay, I don't know what the options are for this. Yeah, so that's basically what I'm saying is just pass the error for now. I'll figure out catching and doing fancy stuff later, because there's different stuff to catch. If someone gives an invalid site name, that's a different error. I want to, display that one. But if it's a site that's stopped, I want to do maybe, instead of writing an error, I'll just start it myself and then restart, so I want to do certain stuff depending on the error, but I'm not catching the error that it throws when the pool is already stopped. You can't run restart on a stopped pool, but I wasn't able to catch that. But I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole. We can do error handling maybe on the next one. I just want to get this working and out the door. Look at the pipeline. I guess I haven't tested this one. I haven't tested these either. So new binding port 80, sure. Heck, this doesn't even ask for everything. Oh, I'm like forcing myself to provide it this way. Should probably change that. Oh, that's not going to work. Hang on. Site 180. Okay, that'll work now. Maybe. Oh. Well, there's not really enough time for me to finish this up. I might remove this one for now. This is not... I need to set up this script block format. For this, so I can invoke it locally or remotely. That's what's broken right now. I'm going to just move this file out of here and publish without it. I'll get rid of this later. That one's not ready. Let's try this one. This totally won't work. It needs the same script block stuff. Let me move it. But the rest of these are all tested and work. I've got that. This one won't work either. This one's good. I'm checking to see if I've set up this logic yet. The local and remote logic. That one's good. 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 And these all work. Okay. I could have just clicked that. Okay. I also want to ignore that. Cool. Cool. So let's go to GitHub real quick and see what tests break. So because I pushed, I've got, this all lives in the GitHub workflows folder. So I've got source code tests on any push to any branch anywhere. Test the source code with the pester tests. That's what this is running. It'll only build on pull request. And it will only run the publish to, you know, check the version and whatever if I'm pushing to main. Whether this is a pull request or I'm just pushing to main. The only time it will publish is if something touches main and it meets the, you know, passes the test requirements, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so GitHub is running the source code tests because I pushed to a branch. So just even on that branch over here, it's testing this branch right now. And everything's failing. So let's go look at that. Oh, I added pass-through to everything. Oh my gosh. So I need to add the pass-through documentation. Please autocorrect something nice. Ha! Okay. Let's add this everywhere. Oh, geez. That's fine. Computer name, state. No pass-through. Okay. Oh, I guess these don't need pass-through because they're get commands already. Duh. All right, save. So the restart will need pass-through. Computer name, pass through. Let me it's a site, so this will need an example. Cool. One example is good enough. I can just run this locally because it's the same thing GitHub's going to do. Make this a little faster. What am I missing? Get binding. No, nothing for port. Computer name port. Okay. Get PSIIS site does not have an example. Cool, everything passes. Okay. So, pipeline. Yay, finally getting to this. So, 102, we can see here that this most recent commit is pending tests on this branch. So we can sort of crack these open. Testing on each OS, all my tests. So these will all run. This one passed, yay. So eventually once they all pass, this commit will get a green check mark. Oops, I'm on main. We'll get a green check mark here for everything. I should probably just PR this right now. Yep, I've got tests and I've got documentation. Yay. So, because I created the pull request, GitHub knows that there's pending actions on pull requests, and so that it attaches the status of those tests for the most recent commit in the pull request. If it passes, great. If stuff fails before, it doesn't matter. Whatever, the newest commit has to obviously be passing. So for some reason there's duplicates. So these test source code, just the code, and then I've got a separate pipeline that builds the module and then tests the built module in each OS. So test the source code, test the built version of the module. And if everything passes, I can pull this in, or merge it into main, and on merge, it'll do a version check, and it will also then retest all this stuff. If all the tests pass and there's a new version, it'll push this out the door. This is actually, it would fail if I merged it because I didn't actually commit a new version number. So that's the requirement when you pull request for GitHub to actually push it out the door. Let me... I'm actually going to save that because I've got a change log. Gosh. Oh, whoops. New functions. I'm honestly just going to steal this list from here. Okay, let's just preview that real quick. Yeah, there we go. Get PSIIS binding. Okay, cool. Change log. Yay. So that adds it to the pull request. It's got to retest everything, and then we'll merge it in and release a module. If you guys have specific questions on how this works, obviously I'm kind of just giving a quick whatever, but the actions are stored in GitHub in the code inside of workflows. This is a location where GitHub will auto detect actions. And then it reads all of these to figure out the trigger criteria. So I've said, only do this on a pull request. Only publish if it touches main. And source control or source code tests on any push, anywhere code gets pushed to GitHub. Run all the tests on every OS. And then when I come into actions, that's where these come from, is GitHub just figures out, it reads those files, automatically puts them here. And yeah, so let's go to the pull request. This green check mark means so far every test has passed. This hasn't updated yet, but if I came in here, everything would be good. So I'm going to merge this into main. And then we come and look at main. Will have its own new action running, the merge. So this is, let's watch the version check and publish. It's going to do a bunch of stuff in here. So this is, yeah, it's going to run all these. The source code has already been tested to get to this point, but this one, it just handles, well, we can look here. Oh man, no output yet. It's going to build a module, which I can go over that process if you don't know what building a PowerShell module means. Oh, I'm not getting any of the logs. That's really weird. Okay, so starting the build process. So first it checks the versions. This is the version in the PowerShell gallery. This is the version in the source control. So we've got a newer version. We better start publishing. So it does, you know, it tests the source code. Yay, all pre-build tests pass. Build the module. So basically find all the files, copy paste them into a single giant module file, which is this PSIISHelper.psm1. It just takes all my separate script files, makes them into one giant one. And then I run some tests on those two giant files afterwards, just a few, not very many. Make sure all the functions export, make sure the manifest is still correct. Just a few things. Yeah, it imports successfully. It's got all the right functions. Passed all post-build tests, publishing the module. So if we went out to the PowerShell gallery, PSIISHelper now has a version 002. Just from me pushing code into GitHub, I know that this will happen. I probably also got an email for this publishing as well, but it creates these, just the two files. If we look at this, it's every function, private, public, whatever, all copied into one giant file. And this is much faster when an end user downloads and wants to use the module. This version, with it being giant like this, loads a lot faster than when I type, when I import it like this locally. This technically loops through each of these files, dot sources them, and I mean, it looks like it loads fast, but if I measured these, it would be significantly different. And yeah, so that's my pipeline. I literally could never, with VS Code doing, has the ability to do pull requests. It's already merged, but I could never leave VS Code and handle all my testing and publishing to the PowerShell gallery without ever having to leave the code. So that's what's nice about GitHub, is you can set up all these, you know, CI actions and things. And you know your code's going to be tested. And if it published, that means it passed all my tests. If I don't like what published, then my tests suck. So it pressures on me. If I'm going to rely on the tests, I need to make sure that they're good. There are more tests I want to write. Honestly, a lot of my tests are kind of superficial. I'm not really leaning into pester the way that I should, like with mocking my functions and really having real internal test coverage. Like with pester, you could literally test that when the code reaches this script block, that this runs correctly or something. Right now, I'm just kind of writing tests on formatting and things like that, but you could really test the guts of your functions with pester, and I'm not really doing any of that, mostly because I don't know how, but I would like to learn. Let's see, here's an example. Yep, so all my public functions, they import correctly. That has nothing to do with the guts of the file, really. Each file, it should register. This all just tests text in the function. Yeah, it should have this text. It should have this text. This one just makes sure it's valid PowerShell code. It doesn't error when I load it. So I'm literally not testing anything of the guts of the commands. but I would like to. So maybe the next stream will, now that we've got some functions that run, I want to test these. Like the restarting a pool. This will error if the pool is stopped. I can write a test for that to make sure. If I don't want that to error, this is what I was trying to write earlier, is catch the different errors from this command. And if I get that error that's, oh, you can't do this because the pool is stopped, I can test that I don't get that error because my code should, I guess, how do I word it? The test case is when a pool is stopped, restarting the pool still restarts the pool. It should start it. So I can test, give it a test case, run this, prove it started at the end. Starting on a build agent, which probably doesn't have one. Yeah, so that's a way to, you can mock. The way mocking works is you can say, if this command were to run, like instead of running it, how do I say it? Maybe I shouldn't say it because I don't fully understand how mocking works. But you can, mocking is a way to test functions without actually running them. Yeah, there is no IIS in GitHub, you're right. But I could, in my Windows image, where is that? This is a good point. This is a good point. Let's go to source code. So on my Windows tests, I'm telling it to use just the latest server OS. I could have a bunch of extra stuff in here that says to load IIS, configure this, you know, sort of test environment. And then my pester test would run and actually be able to test that it started a pool, that it stopped this, whatever. That would all be customized integration tests that GitHub can do for me. And it totally can do that. That's a good point. This is all basically Windows only. As far as the integration tests, yeah. But I could have a sub pipeline that configures this container for me on the spot before it actually runs my tests. That's a good point. I mean, yeah, there's lots of work to do like this to get this to be a holistically tested product, you know. We're just getting started. There's so many commands we can write, so many tests to run, that I need to do. Like I said, I need to do much more with pester. That's something, configuring this container in GitHub, this is something I've never done. So that would be a great learning experience. So lots to do. I might make issues out of some of that stuff. Like your question, I can't integration test on GitHub. I'll make an issue out of that so I don't forget about it. But yeah, this is good. We got a new published version of the module out. Actually, what I should add here, I'm gonna copy like my admin toolkit, for example. Got all these fancy buttons here. Let me grab all of this. I'm gonna have to change a bunch of stuff. There is no Codacity badge. I don't think I've added this. Maybe it'll work. A lot of these are just stats from hitting endpoints. So Oh, wait. That's going to fail. Okay. Passing. Yeah, this is, I don't have this set up to be code quality monitored, but it's pointed to PowerShell Gallery, so that's the newest version. It's got 11 downloads total. This is the size of the repo. So all this cool stuff. Anyway, so I've got some badges. Cool. I'm going to end this here. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah. I'm really hoping that this module, this project, there's so many awesome learning opportunities in here. And I'm just so excited to teach while I learn too. You know, I'm just a doofus, but that's the whole point of this, is to help people learn. So if you ever have questions, let me know. I've been your doofus, and I will see you guys next time. So thanks. See you guys. Hey, can you guys hear me? I am trying to, super random, I'm trying to hop on the PowerShell Community Call real quick, which happens like once a month. Personal. I could stream the call. We all listen together. It'll be magical. I'm just trying to get signed into Teams. aka.ms / JoinPSCall. I think that's the URL. I'm trying. Oh, geez. Okay. No camera, no mic.
Is that?
Can you guys hear the
Are
audio?
you directing that at us, Sean, or?
It's to the attendees in general.
Yeah. No, Michael, your face isn't distracted. All right, we've got an agenda. Perfect.
Okay.
Well, this looks like a good time for us to get started.
Okay.
So with that, hello,
Wait,
everyone.
Is Michael on the call?
Oh, wait a minute. Is Michael? Oh, yeah. Michael, are you here?
Who's Michael?
Otherwise, we'll.
I had this nice introduction for him and everything.
I'm scrolling through the list. I don't see him here yet. We
Would
can
you
get back to him.
prefer I
hopefully
share
in a
my
bit.
screen instead?
So why don't we
Yeah, I'll
skip
just
that
move
one?
it down. Cool.
All right.
I'll just leave this. If you can hear it, that's great.
Okay, well, I'll check in here.
So yeah, they have these calls once a month just to give everybody
See if
updates
Michael's
on what's
there.
going
All
on,
right,
and
so, and again,
people can ask
hello,
questions
everyone,
towards the end and
welcome to the
whatnot.
November PowerShell Community Call, where we discuss all things related to PowerShell and tend to its care and feeding. We have an action-packed agenda for this November meeting, so let's just dive right in. Oh, wait, Stephen, did you have something that you wanted to say?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Yeah. I just wanted to come on here and wish PowerShell a happy birthday. It was the 15th anniversary this past Sunday. I'm very new to this community,
Yay.
but I've learned a lot being here and found out such amazing product PowerShell is and how community driven it is.
Steven
so just wanted
recently
to say
viewed my
that,
LinkedIn
and,
profile,
very excited
so
for
I
the
feel
next
so
15
special.
years, so.
He's the new PM on
everyone.
the PowerShell project, I
Thanks,
think,
Stephen.
at
I
Microsoft.
appreciate that. Yeah, congratulations to the community and the entire PowerShell team, past and present, for all of your work. And basically a tip of the hat to Jim Truer, who was here at the beginning and is with us today. But most important about the PowerShell 15th birthday, it's about the community. And I just want to say, for me, PowerShell didn't solve my problems. PowerShell enabled me to solve my problems. I mean, when you think about it, problems that either I couldn't solve or that would have incurred great costs to solve, PowerShell enabled those solutions. So in a way, PowerShell enabled me to better build my career with the solutions that it enabled. So I just kind of wanted to say happy birthday to all of us for working on PowerShell, for building PowerShell, especially to the community that has been so paramount in the building and shipping of PowerShell. It's not the only tool in my toolbox, but it's the one I always reach for. So to everyone, happy 15th PowerShell birthday.
Hey, Magician.
And like Steven
Thanks
said,
for the
looking
follow.
forward to the next
Appreciate
15 years.
I think that
with
came
that,
in earlier, but
let's dive in. Did we decide if
didn't
Michael
see it
was
right
here or not, or what is our first agenda item? Oh, we're going to go to Steve for our first agenda item. So, Steve, Just before we start talking about the great achievement of shipping PowerShell 7.2, and congratulations on that, Steve, you want to talk to us about what we're going to be chatting about in December, because this ship keeps floating and keeps moving downriver.
Yep. So before I get to that real quick, I just want to make sure, like, I don't know if Steven actually had a chance before to properly introduce himself. Since I was in jury duty that in October. But if he did, then great. If not, then I'll just say, he's one of our newer PMs on the PowerShell team. I don't know, Steven, if you did. If you did not, then I'll give you an opportunity now.
Sure, I was.
Yeah, actually. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was caught up in a lot of training for the past couple of community calls that was taking up my Thursdays. So yeah, I guess I don't know if I ever did formally introduce myself, but I'm a new PM on the PowerShell team. Just straight out of college, coming onto Microsoft here. I joined late August, and so yeah, like I said, very excited to be on the team and excited to learn from everyone and interact with the community more as I go forward.
All right. So now let me jump into December. So the key question here is whether or not we will have a December community call, because it is getting close to the holidays, and a lot of folks, at least on the U.S. side, start disappearing. My thinking, so this would be, I think, on December 16th. I think would be the third Thursday, somewhere around there. So it is not the second half per se of December. So I will probably be around, but I don't know if we'll have enough community members or team members to really have anything to discuss. So that's the question. I don't know. Does anyone else want to chime in a bit? I mean, there are some things that we know are coming in December.
Do we want to put a poll in the chat maybe and see if folks would plan on attending the December call?
That's a good idea. Why don't you post something and then see how many thumbs ups we get, and we can use that as a gauge.
Yeah. Cool. I will post in the chat right now.
All right. So Sydney's gonna post something in the chat, and just give it a thumbs up if you, not because you want us to have it, but because you think you're gonna attend.
Sorry, I'm doing work while I listen.
Give us some data.
If you have any questions, let me know. But
move on to the next topic.
We're just hanging out.
Yes, we GA'd PowerShell 7.2 last month, and it is our most recent long-term support, which means that we'll support for 3 years. Again, we are aligned with .NET at this point, and it is shipping on .NET 6. It was a great effort from the team and the community to make that happen, and we are trying to stay lockstep with .NET going forward. Yeah, I don't know what else we need to say about that. I think, again, I had that blog post, highlighting some of the stuff. I believe Sean had already updated the what's new documentation. You can read to see it in more detail, some of the new capabilities and stuff like that. So please install it. Let us know if there's any issues, and then we can at least get those addressed if needed. Otherwise, we're going to continue to move forward to 7.3. So let me talk about 7.3 real quick here. I don't have a roadmap yet. We will be working on it probably sometime in December and January. So then I would expect that I'll have a blog post about it at the earliest. It'll probably be like late February, to be honest. And this is also where, I see Ilya had posted some things that he would like to see being invested in, like file system provider, new remoting subsystem. So here's what I will say. New remoting subsystem is something I'm committed to having implemented. That way we can also support some more community folks like Jordan doing his awesome PSW span work. But file system provider is not necessarily something that's easy for me to commit to, because it's just going to be really a large work item. It might be something that maybe we'll get started, maybe community can help out, and we'll see as an experimental feature and see how that goes. But it's not necessarily something I think the team itself will be funding. There's a bunch of other stuff which I won't talk about right now, but we'll get to hopefully early next year to talk about where the team is investing all up, not just in PowerShell, but also in other things related to PowerShell in OpenSSH.
Hey, Brand, welcome. So right now I'm streaming the PowerShell Community Call.
One of the things that we are looking into investing in is getting PowerShell 7 into Windows. So that will be a big effort.
I think I've got a link in the chat.
In the PowerShell 7.3 timeframe. So I'm not saying that's going to happen.
Unless you want to, would rather listen to them instead of listening to them through me. So
see what we can do to make it happen. I will have a RFC hopefully published about how we're going to approach this.
These calls happen monthly.
I don't know if it's come in December or not, because again, people start disappearing. Probably January will make more sense to have that posted. But I'll just say, like, the two big challenges that we have of shipping PowerShell 7 in Windows is really two things. One is size. So, Windows PowerShell has the benefit that .NET Framework is part of Windows, so that doesn't count against Windows PowerShell. So if you look at it from that perspective, Windows PowerShell is pretty tiny. It also includes a bunch of modules that other teams own, so that doesn't count against it either. PowerShell 7 needs to ship .NET with it because .NET has no plans of shipping in Windows outside of .NET Framework. And so today, if you look at the PowerShell 7 install, PowerShell 7.2, I think it's somewhere around 200 megabytes on disk. So it's really large. And the reason it's large is we need to include a lot of assemblies, even if we don't use it ourselves, so that we have similar capabilities in terms of API coverage as .NET Framework, right? So to kind of get more closer to apples, we need to ship a lot of stuff like the WPF, WinForms, and all that stuff. So that means that it's huge. So that is one problem, is that we can't just ship a 200 megabyte shell in Windows. It would not, like, customers don't want it, and the Windows team will not allow it. So we are doing some work. You might have heard me talk about this before, the concept called minimal PowerShell. We're still evaluating that, and even if we don't get to where we need to get to, we still have opportunity to trim down some of the sizing and make things optional and installable and stuff like that. So we're still looking down that path. I don't know if, to be honest, based on the initial investigation, I don't think that by itself will solve the size problem. So then there's this other problem, which is support lifecycle, right? So again, .NET, dropping the core name, .NET only has up to a 3-year support lifecycle for an LTS release. Windows still has a 5+5, so basically 10 years. 10 is bigger than 3. That means that we can't ship a product based on .NET in Windows.
Yeah, I can't imagine keeping track of all these different support cycles.
Requires.
It's nuts.
Because basically, let's say that we ship .NET,
lot.
let's say 7, right? And they have .NET 7 won't be an LTS. Let's say we ship .NET 8 or even .NET 6. So the clock starts, and if .NET has let's say, a security issue, then they are going to fix it in a newer version of .NET and not an older one. And my team is not resourced to say we're not going to maintain our copy of .NET. It's just not feasible for 10 years, right? It doesn't make sense. So there are some ideas to work around these two problems. Again, I'll have an RFC published probably January timeframe so that you guys can provide some input to see whether or not this is going to solve those problems. All right, I feel like I've talked more than enough. Let me just look real quick if there's yes. So Keith asked a question about updates. That is one of the things that is covered in the RFC about how updates will be handled. So I'll look forward to your feedback on that. Okay, I think that's probably it, unless I see anything else. Otherwise, let's move on, and you can always add questions if there's more questions about this topic later that I can get around to.
Awesome, thanks, Steve. So, Sydney and Andy, understand you've been doing a lot of work on VS Code. What's an update on the VS Code extension?
Thank you, sir.
I can give
appreciate
a
it.
quick update and then pass things over to Andy. So last month we shipped a major update to our PowerShell preview extension for VS Code. And this update represented about a year's worth of architecture changes
Okay, kiddo.
To really
Thanks,
promote
champ.
the stability and reliability of our extension.
Sport, all the words.
Since this was a major update, we definitely expect that there are bugs and issues, and we're so thankful to the community members who have taken the time to try out this preview extension, give us feedback, and even provide us with PRs or contributions. So I would just encourage folks to continue with that. It helps us out so much. And then we hope to see this change come to stable and provide a really stable experience.
Yeah, I've seen some quirks with the new VS Code extension, but I'm not on preview,
Andy,
so
you want to add,
I'm not sure if they've been fixed.
Emphasize?
Yeah, I just want to fill in. Thanks for the intro on it. I'm going to paste the link to the blog post that Sydney wrote for us actually about this preview extension that's currently out. So we immediately went out with a preview towards the end of October, which I'm very happy to say includes all of that pipeline work, as we had some questions around when that would get in, and our plan was end of October, and it happened. Some of the community members have really stepped up in helping me get this preview stabilized. There's still so much work to do. Don't let me lie. Like, it's probably not going to land in stable for, my guess is, a couple months. But Patrick Meineke and Justin Grote have just done some amazing work with me. We're getting a whole lot of things fixed. We got the profile bugs fixed pretty immediately. We're working through some debugger issues right now, but I just want to extend a huge thanks to them. They've been great kind of co-maintainers helping me out, especially with Rob having no more capacity to work on the extension with us. But yeah, so the preview's out. Please do give it a try. It's buggy. I have to say that it is one of the buggier previews because it is a large rewrite. In fact, like we even went into it and realized, hey, we fixed that bug and it's back in the preview. It just kind of got missed when a big, very large branch got merged. But I'm very, very happy to say that some of the issues that we tagged as, hey, we hope that this gets fixed when we eventually get the pipeline work in, we went back and had tested and people verified in the preview, yeah, those weird race conditions are gone because now this whole thing just essentially has a queue that just runs things in order and they're cancelable now. So we don't have all these issues where PowerShell's talking 5 different times in the extension. So it's fantastic. Just thanks to everyone for the work. Please be patient with us as we get this to stable. Like one of the huge things on our plate is to re-enable all the tests that I've talked about for the last year. We had to turn them off when we changed the engine. Now I have to go turn them all back on a second time. But you know what? That's how we get from A to B. We'll get a much more quality and stable extension out here eventually, and I think you will all really like it. So I'll get that blog post posted into our chat. And just again, thanks to the community for testing and for working with me on this stuff.
Hey, thanks, Andy and Sydney. That was awesome. Amber, now you were telling us last month about doing a PowerShell gallery migration. You want to give us an update on that and how it went?
Yep, I can definitely do that. So this is just going to be a really quick update. The migration, which we've been working on for the last couple of months, is finally complete. And so this has been like a backlogged issue for us actually for a couple of years. And so we're really glad to get this completed. And this is going to allow us to kind of work on some other PowerShell gallery issues that have been in existence for a while now, especially like the statistics page. I know there's been consistent issues with that, especially in the last year. So some of these issues that we haven't really had like the time or bandwidth to address in the last X amount of months, we'll actually be able to get to now. So that's pretty exciting. And hopefully, other than that, everything's been a pretty smooth experience for users.
Oh, great. Well, that's fantastic. Congratulations. Well, on the, I'm going to take over for a second and just want to talk about how everybody can help the community. Boy, that's such a tired subject to talk about because you hear us talk about it all the time and it seems like, yeah. But here's the thing. I want to remind everybody, you know, about 15 years ago, Jeffrey Snover made the sacred vow, which was basically
the sacred vow.
If you put in the effort to really learn PowerShell so that you could be enabled to solve your problems, that Microsoft would put in the investment to keep PowerShell fresh, to make sure that PowerShell would allow you to be able to solve all of the new, the latest and greatest emerging technologies. Well, part of that sacred vow, though, is a responsibility with all of us, and that's to communicate. And many of you, especially on this call, have been crucial to that communication. And that's for the community and the PowerShell team so that we can build a better product to support everybody in solving their problems. Well, we're going to make continued efforts in trying to get everyone's perspective. See, I kind of think that we're not hearing everyone's perspective, and I want to make sure that we're very inclusive with PowerShell. So I'd like your help. Besides being on this call, you work with people that they don't communicate this way. They don't join the calls. They don't go to GitHub and file issues. They don't have conversations there. So if you could help us to reach out and let them know that we want to hear from them, and here's how. You can go to GitHub and file issues. And that's a great place to have a conversation, but we want to expand this conversation to people that don't use GitHub. We want to expand this conversation to IT ops. We want to expand it to DevOps and developers and in the communication that they prefer. So I want to talk to you. If you want to communicate through email, send an email. If you want to have a chat on the phone, let's have a chat on the phone. I want to talk about the challenges that you're facing in your work so that we can take a look at it with PowerShell. Also, just to let you know, you're going to be hearing more about this next year. Several of us are starting a new project that is based on finding feature teams and helping them to achieve PowerShell commandlets. And this is our search and rescue project, our PowerShell search and rescue. And you're going to hear more about this. And I'm going to be asking you for your help there to help us identify those teams that maybe have been building features that I'm unaware of, that we want to help them build PowerShell commandlets. I appreciate all of your help in encouraging teams to do that. So I look forward to the new year where we'll be communicating more and building the audience more, so that we can help build a better PowerShell product. So yes, this is my call out to please open up the communication, bring more friends into the conversation. So thank you for that part. And with that, let me ask a quick question. Has Michael Green shown up by any chance before I move on? Or we can save him for the end if he hasn't.
I don't see him.
Okay, cool. Aditya, one of my favorite projects, the updatable help. You're going to give us an update on it.
So as part of 7.2 GA, we missed updating the link that it points to when you do GitHub online, Get Help Online. It still points to 7.1 help content. That has already been fixed, and I just wanted to update that we'll be releasing that as part of the first servicing release for 7.2, which will be 7.2.1.
Maybe I could
we don't have a date for that yet, but
do something here. Maybe I could add the stream.
That we have it patched in the next release.
Thanks, Aditya. You know, the world's a messy place, and I make mistakes too. As hard as we work on helping everyone to update their help documentation, sometimes even we make mistakes and slip through the cracks, but we got it fixed. So we expect to see that out soon. Also, we've had some, some improvements around PS Script Analyzer in the docs there. Sean, you want to talk to us about Script Analyzer?
Sure. So I just want to remind everybody that we've started the process of publishing the documentation for Script Analyzer to the docs site. And we're working on moving everything that's product documentation out of the source code repo and into the docs platform. That's generally how we organize all of our documentation. The source repo documentation should document how to use the source code, build the source code, things like that. So we're in this process now of moving that content to the docs platform. So you'll see, if you're used to going to find the docs in the GitHub repo, you'll see things moving around a little bit, and just know that.
There we go. Now you guys can see what the heck is going on.
You can find it on the docs platform now. I put a link in the chat, and we love to get feedback there as well. So.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, and thanks, Sean, that Sean's also updated several docs, as he mentioned, but one of them is also all of the installation docs and the supported operating systems, a much better style. We think it's a lot easier for people to read and find the information that they're looking for. So thank you, Sean, and please give us feedback if we can improve those. Also, we want to talk a little bit about PS Readline. Now, PS Readline is an integral part of PowerShell and provides the UI that most of us are accustomed to seeing when we're operating in the terminal and working with PowerShell. Features like predictive IntelliSense is a great example of some of the things being presented. And my friend Dongbo, you were going to give us an update on PS Readline 2.2.
Yeah, a quick update. So we are targeting having 2.2 PS Readline GA in January, maybe end of January. And so currently still working on the stability of the PS Readline, like trying to fix more issues that cause exceptions you see in like in some of the reports of the issues in PS Readline repo. Speaking of the stability, I want to mention that after 7.2, PowerShell 7.2 G8, we see a lot of reports about the crashing exception when starting up when starting up PowerShell 7.2. It's because of the the user is still using a 2.2 beta 1 or 2.2 beta 2 version of the PS Readline along with the PowerShell 7.2. So I want to explain a little bit why this happened. So back in PowerShell 7.2 preview 6, we made a breaking change. Well, it's a breaking change compared to previous preview versions. So we made a breaking change to the predictive intelligence API per the request from our internal partner. So by that time, the PS3 line 2.2 already have the beta 1 and beta 2 version out, which depends on the old interface. So after making that breaking change in PowerShell engine, the beta 1, beta 2, 2.2 beta 1, beta 2 PS3 line become incompatible with the newer 7.2 previews. And we get a lot of reports about this crash by that time, but it turns out some people are still using the beta 1, beta 2 version of the 2.2 beta 1, beta 2 version of the PS3 line, but they didn't update to a new version of the PowerShell preview. So now when they update to PowerShell 7.2, they run into the same issue. So I just want to explain this to you, and we want you to know that we already have a GitHub action enabled in the PS3 line repository, which will be triggered when a new issue is opened. And you're gonna scan the issue and try to pre-triage it. If you see that it's the same issue, you're gonna reply to the issue with a solution and close it immediately. So in case anyone run into this, if you know already, you can just take a look at the PS repository and look at one of the most recent closed issue and find a solution. Or when you are opening one, you will get the reply from the GitHub bot immediately with the solution. So yeah, that's it.
Hey, thanks, Dango. And yeah, let me just to kind of reiterate. So if you go to the issues, you'll see the instructions that Dango has on how to fix this issue. Essentially, it's basically from some other shell, just replacing PS Readline with the new version of PS Readline, so that you don't run into this problem, and then you can start PowerShell normally, and it works just fine. So it's a pretty easy fix. Apologize for the confusion, but essentially, whether you go out to look at the issues, you'll see the fix out there, or if you've already kind of experienced this, you probably realize that you can update the module outside of PowerShell and get yourself back working again. So
I'll try.
Thanks, Dango. Really appreciate it.
It's cold. Man.
One more thing,
it just sucks.
If you can, please update. One more thing, if you can, please update.
Is this loud enough, by the way? You guys can hear what they're saying and everything?
So try out all the fixes in it and let us know if you run into an issue.
Was that to me? Because I think I'm still running
beta
sweet. 3. So I think you were just talking.
It's really loud in my ears. So I feel like I have to yell
thanks, man.
to be heard over it, but it's probably fine.
Before we get to the Q&A, and Sydney, I'm going to need your help reading some of those questions. But before we hit the Q&A, I just want to...
yeah, we'll see if I bring any snow back when I visit over Thanksgiving.
It gives me great pleasure to let you all know that we have a new lead PM on the PowerShell team. And if you haven't heard, it's someone that you probably all know very well. He's been hardcore PowerShell for over a decade in the field and running a great team here at Microsoft, the DSC and guest config team. So we are very fortunate to have Michael Green join the team as lead PM. We're really looking forward to working with him and his experience and his very customer-driven solutions and outreach. So if Michael's on the call, I'd love for him to say a few words, but if he's not, just want to let everybody know we're very excited to have Michael Green join us. So thanks, Michael, and we're looking forward to next year.
You shall be shunned, yeah.
And
I tried to ping him, but I don't see him, so he must have something else going on, unfortunately, right now.
Okay, well, we'll just talk about him, behind his back. Anyways, so everyone, so let's go ahead and dive into some questions. Sydney, what do we got going on here?
Yeah, so I'm just looking through the questions in the chat here or in the GitHub issue.
That was
trying
weird.
to monitor both of them. Let's see. Some of them have already been answered in the chat, but here's a question: will PS Readline 2.2 be compatible with Windows PowerShell?
Good question.
Oh, yeah, and Dango, if you want to jump on and talk about this, one of the interesting things that we've done with PS
There's some, well, Noel and I worked on this recently. There's a PS Readline prediction.
Yes, PS Readline is
prediction history or something, some flag that doesn't exist in the Windows PowerShell version.
PowerShell 5.1.
Awesome.
And if you're looking for features such as predictive IntelliSense, those features like predictive IntelliSense and historical suggestions that come from it will be available to you on Windows PowerShell 5.1. But
yes,
keep in mind that some features that you may be interested in, such as additional predictors, for example, like the AZ Tools predictor, those will not be available on Windows PowerShell 5.1. Those required us to make some changes in PowerShell that you must be running on PowerShell. And here's where I might get it wrong. Is it 7.1 plus, Dongbo, or is it actually 7.2 plus and above?
It's 7.2 plus because of the interface change. Like,
great.
So PS readline, predictive history, that's the stuff when you see me typing commands and you see a block of commands that I've written in the past that it might suggest to me. That
looking in the chat, not
as robust in Windows PowerShell. So that's why I really like that question.
PowerShell Get or OpenSSH. I can start with the PowerShell Get, and then any of the other folks on the PowerShell Get project can kind of chime in. Yeah, so we're continuing to make progress on PowerShell Get 3.0. We had our preview 11 release a couple of months ago, and we're fast at work on the preview 12 release. If you're curious specifically what issues we are planning to resolve in that 12.0 release, the preview 12 release, it is organized into a GitHub project that I can get here in the chat. But the short answer is that we are getting close to completing the entirety of the commandlet interface, and that's really a goal for us with the preview 12. We hope to have that out in December, but as you know, with the holidays, could always end up getting into January. But we're still working hard on PowerShell Get, and definitely check out the repo if you're curious about really specifics of when issues might land in various previews.
Cool. One of the things that I want to point out is there's an issue in the GitHub repo issue. There was a question from Warren regarding predictions and cleaning up your history. In other words, I assume that some of you that have started using predictions have noticed that maybe if you type something wrong into your history, that now pops up as a prediction, and that might be something that you want to clean up. And while we don't have specific cleanup tools, Dongo did a great job in the issue of answering that and basically giving you some ideas on both how to clean that up and some ideas on how to validate what goes into history, so that maybe you're not getting as much garbage in there in the first place. And yes, this is something that irritates me as I'm working with it, and so I'm sure that we'll all be thinking more about this as well. So thanks for commenting on that.
Yeah, awesome. Is that Danny with the OpenSSH update?
OpenSSH
okay, cool. I was just gonna see if you were on the call.
Sorry, did I cut you off, Danny? Oh, I apologize.
No worries. Yeah, so we've been hard at work on a few different things, kind of in the, I'd say, SSH portfolio. There's nothing I can share, I'd say, today. But I'd say we've probably got the most people working on SSH than we've had in a while, and so look for multiple updates in the new year.
Outstanding. Thank you, Danny. And again, sorry to step on top of you. I apologize.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm looking for some more questions that we can answer.
What can I ask?
Yes.
What should I ask you guys?
Not seeing any more questions.
Yeah, I can go over some of Michael's Lombardi's questions.
Hey, Jason Helmick's using the same microphone I am. It's this model of the Yeti.
Maybe quickly
That's cool.
Go through some of these. And then while I'm doing that, maybe Cindy can see
I'm
other questions, because there's also just a lot of discussion in the RFC side. So the first question about the steering committees. So I don't have any major updates here. So Michael will be joining the committee, and then he'll also be joining probably the commandlet working group. I do have an ask for folks here. Like I've been thinking about, I think we need more community folks in the working groups to kind of help the folks who are already there, either from the team or from the community. And rather than us continuing to kind of select folks, if anyone is interested, why don't you contact us, myself, maybe Jason, and then we can figure out if it's going to be a good fit and all those things. So no major update there, but I do encourage folks to kind of who have. So again, it is a commitment. So you're spending probably maybe an hour or two a week kind of helping to triage those issues, but you are empowered to help make those decisions. General
and if
roadmap
folks
for,
do want to contact you or Jason, what's the best way to go about that?
That's a good. Maybe we should do. I wonder if we should do it this way. Maybe we should just open up an issue in the RFC repo, and have people post there, and then we'll figure out how to do the communication.
Yeah,
Let's start with that and see how that works. Okay, so put an action item on me to create that issue, and then we'll publicize it on Twitter and whatever.
Sounds good.
Okay, we already talked about the 7.3 roadmap, so nothing to share at this point. Future for providers. All right, so providers is a problem that, how should I put it? All right, so providers today is complicated, and Ships is one of the modules that helps simplify that. But Ships only really supports PowerShell script providers and not C#, and it's hard for anyone to really, it's complex to write a C# provider. So what I'll say is, it is not something that we've forgotten about. I don't know, it's unlikely to show up as part of 7.3. But it is something on top of my mind. It's one of the reasons I also hesitate. I know Ilya wants to like redo the file system provider, and he can do it with the current infrastructure that we have for providers. But we could also do it in some future time when we actually have time to update the provider API model to simplify it. So again, I don't know when that will happen. Gallery improvements roadmap. I think we'll have probably more to talk about that next calendar year. Classes, language feature prioritization. So again, you know, Jeffrey, the one phrase Jeffrey says, I don't know if he coined it, but he says that I really believe it's to ship is to choose. So we do have to be selective on areas that we invest in. Classes and language features is probably not, again, something that is high on our priority list to invest. I'll be honest, like just to like at a high level, a lot of stuff I think in my mind for 7.3 is more about completeness and not in the sense completeness of classes. Like that is something that's on top of mind, but not necessarily adding new features, right? There's a bunch of other work that we have to do. Like if we want to get it into Windows, there's a bunch of work we have to do that may not be obvious to customers, but it needs to be done. It's just like there was a ton of work that had to happen for the Microsoft update support that is internal,
which is really cool,
that side, that you don't see, but
getting your PowerShell updates through Windows Update. You don't have to install every version.
Stuff that we have to do
awesome,
for,
awesome.
get ourselves into Windows. So that itself is probably going to be the priority. Let's see, okay, so we talked about the community side. So I think that covers that one, and I will hand it back to Sydney if she saw any good questions.
Actually, Sydney, I ran across a question in the chat that I think I can answer, and then if you have something. There's a question in the chat that says, is there any documentation on creating custom predictors? Dongbo, correct me in case some of this has changed, but let me go ahead and answer this. Not yet. It's something that we're going to start working on. First of all, let me just let you know that there are, to register a predictor into PowerShell, it's actually a very simple process. There's an on import and an on remove method. But the challenge for a lot of people in writing a predictor is that currently it's not written in PowerShell. It's currently written in C#. And we haven't put together any documentation on that. We wanted to do some more experimentation and work and then put some documentation together on it. Dongbo, is anything changed in that? Does that sound pretty accurate still?
Yes, that's correct. We're going to I'm going to work on some sample, one or two sample predictor plugins, and then publish those sample codes as part of the documentation.
Fantastic. So thanks, Thomas, for that question. Sydney, what you got?
Yeah, I am not seeing any more questions in the chat or in the GitHub issue, but definitely want to give folks another opportunity in case there's something maybe that you did post that hasn't gotten answered. If you could please post it again, that would be awesome.
So let's give everybody a couple of minutes
for sure.
Questions. We've got 20 minutes left, folks, and we're in no rush. So if there's some questions that you have that you want to talk about. Also, I'll take this time. I hope you all enjoyed Microsoft Ignite. That was a lot of fun. If you had a chance to even come to our I don't know what we called that thing, the interview call where we could all join.
Ask the experts?
I hope that was, yeah, the Ask the Experts thing. Yeah, I hope that was enjoyable and that there was some useful information. And boy, it was sure great to see some of the folks like Jeff Hicks and Mike and stuff like that.
So I do see some discussion about DSC in classes. So here's what I would say. For those who aren't aware, like classes really started as focused on DSC, right? So this happened in the Windows PowerShell 5.1 timeframe. So from the perspective of the team, I mean, it is quote unquote complete for the purposes of writing a DSC resource. Now you could argue about some edge stuff, but it works. And so I think a lot of the ask from the community has been, hey, can you now do more work in the classes area so you can use it as a general purpose thing and not have it so finely scoped to DSC. And that's the part where I'm saying it's currently that itself, although I feel the pain as well, it's not a priority at this point. I think we'll probably have more to talk about DSC v3 next year.
I use classes outside of DSC, but not in depth enough to nitpick. Probably.
Yeah, and I just want to throw in on DSC v3. Those of you that are taking a look at it and working with it, yeah, talk to me about it. And if you're running into issues with classes, definitely talk to me about it. However, I do want to kind of, from my own experience, just kind of say that, classes were originally developed in PowerShell for this purpose of DSC resources. They do work really well. We've been using them for years this way. So yeah, talk to us about it and see what improvements we can do in that. And as far as scaling it out beyond DSC resources, I mean, we're always open to the conversation. It's just not prioritized at the moment. Some good scenarios and needs, yeah, would help that. But yeah, Sydney, what you got?
Oh, looks like a question. I think Steve just replied in chat, but we can ask it out loud anyways. Do you think you will tackle the no logo, simplified logo, no copyright by default issue in 7.3?
Oh, sweet. Do that.
I need a reminder because I was involved in some of this discussion on the
Get rid
issue.
of it.
And to be honest, that was a while back, and I just don't remember where exactly that ended up. And I know that it kind of blew up a bit because it started up on Twitter, I think, and got a lot of publicity because Emo, who has a lot more followers than I do, I believe, started this thing. So I don't know if I have to remember like what the issues were. It's not obvious. It's not always so obvious what the right thing is from our point of view. So
yeah, and I'll send you a reminder or an action item on that, Steve, about it was talking to Sila about the
Bergmeister. Yeah. And by the way, Chris, congratulations on your wedding. That's pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Let's see if we have.
Anyways, I will. Yeah, last time I commented on this was like June-ish. So I'll get back this. Yeah, I'll have to look through this to see if it's something if it's something we can do and what we should do. So. All right. Anything else?
Anybody have anything else?
Well, let me say one more thing. Like, I respect Emo a lot. However, just because he brings up something doesn't mean that we're gonna jump on it. So.
The other thing is that there's, and a lot of you folks know this, and on that particular issue, there's a lot of us that switch between many different shells, and having a small prompt that tells us which shell that we've just switched into is actually necessary or needed.
Do it in your title.
Make sure you get your opinion.
Handle that in your profile or something. If you're using terminal, you can just leave it in the title. I don't know.
So let me throw open hands to anybody on the team and in there if we have
your profile display it or something.
Because if not, we're gonna wrap this show.
Did we have any demos?
We did not have any demos. So with that, let's go ahead and give everybody a little bit of time back, 15 minutes back. Again, happy birthday to you, all of you, and thank you so much for all of the work and your interest and your help in PowerShell. Thanks to the PowerShell team, both past and present, for all of their happy birthday to everyone, and go out there and solve some problems with PowerShell. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for attending the November PowerShell Community Call. And we currently look forward to seeing you in December around the holidays to talk about 7.3 and all things good going forward with PowerShell. So have a wonderful month, be safe, and take care. Thank you all.
Bye. Cool. Cool. Well, that was cool. Got a couple updates. PS Readline is going to be more compatible in Windows PowerShell, which is nice. Nothing new for classes. It is what it is. I use classes, so in some deployment stuff for work, I use classes to create my objects. I've never messed with like the XML formatting or any stuff like that. In PowerShell 5, you can just directly create a class with its methods, with the default properties it's going to display, blah blah blah. So we use it for like deployments and stuff. We create basically like we use the class to create like a configuration object, and then we just call a deploy method on that object, kind of. So that's cool. That's what I use it for, and it's in depth enough to work for me. But I don't play with it too much. I'm not in the camp of complaining that classes are insufficient. I haven't come across a thing I can't do with a class, but I just don't use them as much as probably a lot of people. Yeah, so good call. I haven't been on the last few months of calls. With me not streaming for months, for a while, I didn't hop on any of the calls either. So it's nice to get back to streaming for you folks, and get back to the PowerShell calls. So yeah. Well, unless you guys want to just watch me work, I'll probably just call it here. Yeah. 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 So yeah, I don't really have anything else. I've got to look at a couple things. It's lunchtime, so I might go eat. I don't know what I'll eat, but I'm sure I will find something. Oh, for me leaving. I thought those were for me staying. Having to watch me. That was funny. I took that the exact opposite way you meant it. That's funny. Yeah, you know what? I'll probably take off, go find some foods. Yeah, I think I am so close to being a Twitch affiliate, which is really cool. Let's look at that real quick, in case I'm interpreting something wrong. Let me blow this up, change this. Okay, cool. So these are my Twitch stats, and this says I'm almost an affiliate, but I think I meet all these requirements right now. So the two that this says I do meet is you got to stream for so many hours in the last 30 days, done. Stream for 7 different days in the last 30 days, done. The two that are incomplete based on this are getting 50 followers and having an average of 3 viewers. Okay, so real quick. So Twitch affiliate just means when you come to my Twitch profile, you actually see a subscribe button instead of just follow. You can actually subscribe. Most people, would subscribe with their Amazon Prime, Twitch, whatever. But if you notice, I don't have that button, and not everyone does. So Twitch sort of weeds out unpopular people, I guess. And so you have to meet these criteria to apply to be an affiliate, and then you get all kinds of perks. Just the subscribe button is like the biggest immediate one. But so couple comments on this. I have 52 followers. This says I have 48. I don't know why. So there's that. And having 3 average viewers, I think I have enough from this stream to bump this 2.6 up enough to have 3, but all the stats haven't come in yet. Like if we come over here to stream summary, 12:15. Oh, it did just bring in a bunch of stats. Let's see. So I'm at 2.8. I think this has had a hard time updating, but for this stream that's been going on for about 3 hours, it says I've got 4.2, but I know it's more than that. I can kind of keep track of everything, and I've been sitting at 5 and 7 for a long time because you guys are great. I have nothing better to do than to watch a doofus, which is great. But I think that the stats just haven't come in yet for this. And even if they have, see, this says 2.8. This still says 2.6. So I'm hoping that this just sorts itself out and I can become an affiliate, which would be very cool. Yeah. So anyway, that's that. I think I'm going to go find some food. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good lunch, good day, good week, good weekend. And I will catch you on the next one. I'm actually going to end the stream this time. I left it on the end scene for a while, and then I was like, oh yeah, the PowerShell call is on. So maybe that's a thing we can do. Those are once a month. We can hang out on those, and yeah, maybe hang out some more other time. So I'm going to go. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.